So what's going on, guys? DIY Dan here again, and this is another episode of Backroads, Arizona. In this video, I actually had some issues with the thermostat in my 2007 Weekend Warrior. What was happening is the furnace would be triggering on when it wasn't supposed to. I was basically ending up with dead batteries in my toy hauler. Then one day when it was charging, I was walking through my side yard and I noticed that the furnace was coming on the outside of the toy hauler. So I went inside, made sure my thermostat was in the off position, and it was. So that's basically what was going on here. We had a trip coming up in a short amount of time, so I didn't really have time to diagnose much, but I did figure it was the thermostat. I got one off of Amazon for around 17 bucks, went ahead and replaced it, and that did rectify the problem. However, when I got back from that trip, I wanted to understand the system a little bit more, so I did pull the cover back off, grabbed my multimeter, and checked a couple things. And I'm gonna go over that diagnostic that I found, so hopefully that'll help you with a situation you might have with your thermostat. And then at the end of this video, I will go over the replacement of that thermostat. So let's get to it. So most of the time in a 12 volt DC system, you have 12 volt power source going to one side of your switch. Once you turn that switch on, it transfers that 12 volts to the other side of the switch, which is what powers whatever you've got operating from that switch on. What I realized is that on this thermostat in my Weekend Warrior, it's actually working off of a ground instead of a power.
When circuits are using a ground to activate something, you will have a ground to one side of the switch, and there will actually be power to the other side of the switch until you flip that switch and supply that ground, which will take that to a 0 volt situation because it has completed the circuit back to the battery.
So keep in mind, I don't know if all thermostats that are in RV campers work like this. This is just what I found in my 2007 Weekend Warrior. And I do have quite a bit of electrical experience in the field I'm in. So on this thermostat, I had a terminal saying 7.5 volts and one that says ground on it. So I went ahead and put my black lead on the ground and my other lead on the 7.5 volts, and I did get 7.24 volts, telling me we did have the power and ground that is supplied to this thermostat to make everything work.
If you don't get that reference voltage between those two terminals, then you will need to isolate which wire is the problem. An easy way to do this is get a long jumper wire and go directly to the battery on your toy hauler or camper. Put it on the ground and test that positive. And you can do the same thing with the other side. You can run one of your leads to the positive and test the ground. And that will help you isolate which wire is your problem. And then you will need to trace that down to where it is getting supplied from and what the problem is that way.
So right here, I've got everything in the off position on this thermostat. I've got my multimeter on DC volts. My black lead is on the ground terminal of this thermostat, and I'm checking all the other terminals, and they're all giving me a little bit over 9 volts on my meter.
Except for the white wire, which is the furnace, which is reading just over 7 volts.
Now, once I trigger something to come on, it's actually going to drop that voltage off, meaning it is grounding that circuit and triggering a relay or something else to kick on to turn on the furnace and the AC. So I'm going to show you a little better reference of some of those items. So we're going to go ahead and check the fan. So right now it is actually in the auto and I'm reading just over 9 volts. I'm triggering it to the on position and you'll notice it drops that voltage out, grounding that circuit to engage the fan.
So now I'm going to go ahead and check the furnace wire, which is the white wire. I've still got my black lead on the ground, my other lead on that white wire, and I've got 7.78 volts. So I do have the main switch in the furnace position. However, the temperature in the toy hauler was warmer than what the temperature was set at.
Then I moved the temperature on the thermostat down below the temperature in the RV, and as soon as it got past that temperature, it did zero out that voltage, once again
grounding that circuit to turn on the furnace.
And then once I move that temperature back up on the thermostat, it goes back to the 7.78 volts, which is shutting the unit off because it is not completing the ground to that circuit. So this is my new thermostat, and that is why everything is checking out appropriately, obviously. If you are testing these things in the same manner I just showed you and it is not taking that voltage to 0 volts, then you might have a bad thermostat or you might have a wiring problem from the thermostat to either your furnace or your AC unit that's not completing that circuit. Or once again, your system could be wired differently. This is just what I found on my toy hauler, and it's the only one I've really messed with.
So one other thing that happened to me thinking I had a bad thermostat previously before I figured it out is the fan on the AC unit was always running. So I thought since I had the main switch in the off position that shouldn't happen. However, that is strictly for cooling and heating. So you need to make sure that the fan switch is in the auto position. If that switch is in the on position, that fan is always going to run, no matter whether you have the main switch in off or not.
So right here, I'm just taking the cover off of the thermostat. You just pinch it a little bit and give it a tug and it should pop off of there. Using a small flathead screwdriver, I loosened all of the terminals on the thermostat. Now make sure you take a picture of your wire colors and what they are going to on this thermostat before doing this, so you have that for a reference when putting it back together. I also loosened off the 2 screws that were holding the thermostat itself to the wall. Then carefully pulled the thermostat away from the wall, holding the wires as I did it. There should be enough slack to pull it a decent amount away from that wall so you can work on it. Instead of snapping a picture of the thermostat, I ended up just taking a video explaining what connection points had what color wires on them.
So red goes to 7.5 volts, purple goes to cool, white goes to FUR, blue goes to high fan, brown goes to fan, green goes to ground.
It's a little harder to remove the front cover off the thermostat when it's not mounted to a wall, and I had to use a screwdriver to assist popping it off. So keep in mind that's not like some universal color code for what goes what. It's going to be specific to your camper or RV, so make sure you take that picture or video of your wire connections before removing them from the old thermostat. You also want to make sure that all of the connection points are labeled the same on your new thermostat in comparison to your old one.
Before ordering your new thermostat, I highly recommend taking the cover off the old one to make sure those wiring connections match to the one you're going to get.
Most of these thermostats use a cinch type of wire connection. This is not an actual thermostat, but it uses that same type of connection, so I can show you. Notice as I loosen the screw, it creates a bigger space in that terminal, and then once you push the wire in there, you will just tighten that screw down, which puts a cinch on that wire. So they used a lot thicker wire than what was necessary for this thermostat, so it was a little bit more difficult to hook these wires up than taking it off. So because of this, I only put one wire through the hole at a time and hooked that one up before grabbing the next wire. I also made sure I unscrewed the terminals all the way so there was no restriction from that screw when trying to put the wire in. It might also be helpful to twist the ends of your bare wire together. That makes that connection point a little stronger so that when you push it into the terminal, some of those individual strands don't break off and end up not going into the terminal. So if your wire is damaged in any way, it might also be helpful to cut that end off and restrip a new piece of insulation off of it to give you a fresh start when trying to put these connection points in. On a couple of these, because these wires were so much bigger than what was necessary for this thermostat, I also stripped back some of the size of the wire to make that wire size a little bit smaller because I just couldn't get it in that screw terminal. Using a small pair of needle nose might also be helpful in trying to get those wires into those connection points. One thing I found very helpful after making about 3 of the connections on this is to pull a bunch of the slack all the way through the thermostat and then looping it back to make it easier to try and get the end of that wire into the terminal. Then once tightening the screw down on that wire, go ahead and pull that slack back out through the back of the thermostat. It just made those connections a little easier to work with. When making these connections, there is a couple things to watch out for. I'd say the most critical is to make sure you don't have some of those individual strands from the wire that might not have made it completely into that connection point and might be touching another one of the connection points, which would cause a fan to stay on all the time or short something out. You also want to make sure you don't strip too much of the insulation back and have a bunch of bare wire sticking out past that terminal for that same reason. And the opposite of that is you don't want to strip off too little of insulation, so you're possibly screwing that terminal down on the insulation instead of the bare wire. Now there's no way that could have happened on my camper because of the size wire they used, but when they use smaller wire, you have to watch out for that.
So here's some good examples of the wire being stripped back too much and leaving too much exposed wire that could possibly make contact with one of the other connections. Here's another example of that. And then here's one that's done pretty well. And that's even stripped back just a little bit too far, but there's no way that that bare wire is going to make contact with one of the other terminals.
Once I made all my connection points and made sure I didn't have any of those issues we just discussed, I went ahead and fed the excess wire back into the wall and anchored the thermostat back to the wall using the existing holes. And that's about all there is to it, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and it gave you some good information. If so, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. The whole concept of my channel is to give you guys the most information in the least amount of time as possible so I don't waste your time and save you money by doing it yourself. And I hope to see you next time. Have a good one. Later.